Arr, a pirate's life be full of adventure, sailing the seven seas, pillaging, plundering, and searching for buried treasure. A pirate's life is never dull, although the best kind of pirates are the kind with superpowers.
In case you didn't know, I am a huge fan of One Piece. The story about a group of pirates fighting evil, going on adventures, and following their dreams. The series has been going on for over 20 years, and like Dragon Ball Z, it is considered a cultural phenomenon in Japan.
But when it came to its release in America, it kinda got a bit of a rocky start.
In 2004, the dubbing rights for One Piece were given to 4Kids Entertainment.
Contains violence, language, alcohol, and tobacco usage. Yep, definitely sounds like the kind of thing I want to show to my kids.
Yeah, anyone can see that 4Kids Entertainment was not the right choice of production company to work on One Piece. But the behind the scenes of it all is actually kind of interesting. It was later revealed that 4Kids never actually saw the show until after they got the rights to it, which came from a dual package, with the other series being the one they actually wanted. And for those of you wondering why they couldn't just drop the license, Toei really wanted to rush an American release. So they did what they could, and the results were...
Boy, I hope getting your hands on that other TV show was worth it in the end. Wonder what that show was. Yep, I could totally see how you were willing to risk everything just to get your hands on that one show. Especially since no one remembers it.
The sad thing is that even after they were able to drop the license, as well as take precautions so something like this could never happen again, the damage had already been done. This incident ruined 4Kids' reputation, and became one of the major factors in the company declaring bankruptcy in 2011.
Now, we're not here to talk about the mistakes of the past. We're here to talk about video games. Now, during this 4Kids era, there have been 4 One Piece games that have been released in America.
Now, 4Kids is not a game developing company. It is a licensing company. So aside from influence over the Americanization, as well as providing the English voice cast, they had very little, if anything, to do with the overall production itself.
And a perfect example of this is One Piece Grand Battle.
Now in Japan, this game was released under the title One Piece Grand Battle Rush, and was the 4th game in the One Piece Grand Battle series. But when it came to the release in America, they had to cut out and edit a lot of content, mostly because the American dub was starting the Baroque Works saga at the time.
But can all the trouble of the past, plus some cut content, ruin the overall experience? Well, let's find out.
So the game opens up with... the 4Kids Pirate Rap, which was the opening to the 4Kids dub.
Okay, it doesn't matter if you think the song is good or bad. That is not the main issue here.
No, the main issue with this song is how out of place it feels. Say what you want about 4Kids and their anime dubs, but when it came to their theme songs, they usually try to have it match the tone of the show. With Kirby having a wacky jazz number,
Kirby, he's the star of the show.
Sonic X having a fast-paced rock song,
Gotta go fast.
even Yu-Gi-Oh's theme being all dark and dramatic. But this...
Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the Grand Line, there's no doubt.
Whenever I hear this song, it doesn't make me think of pirates going on adventures, discovering new wonders. At best, it makes me think of the kind of pirate movie that would star Will Smith.
Although, now that I think about it, that could be entertaining.
One positive note I will give this song, I love Eric Stewart's opening narration. He's like an over-enthusiastic storyteller.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for One Piece, the treasure that would make their dreams come true.
Anyway, on to the game itself. It's a three-dimensional fighting game similar to the vein of Power Stone. There are 16 playable characters, with each having a similar control scheme. Pressing the A button allows you to perform forward attacks, while pressing the X button allows you to perform upward attacks. You can also use the buttons interchangeably in order to perform combo moves. Pressing the B button will allow you to grab and throw your opponent, with a standing grab allowing you to throw your opponent behind you, or a moving grab allowing you to push your opponent away. And pressing the Y button will allow you to jump, giving you the opportunity for some aerial attacks. Also, by pressing and holding the R button, you can block opposing attacks. But you don't want to stay in that guard position for the entire fight, because each character also comes with a shield breaker attack, which can be performed by pressing A and X at the same time. Luckily, the guard position can be used for more than just blocking attacks. While you're in this position, you can press either the A or X button to perform either a forward or upward ranged attack. You can also press them both at the same time to perform a unique attack. Some examples include counterattacks, fast movement, or an attack that can be handy if you're in a pinch.
Oh no!
And last but not least, each character has the ability to perform special moves. While holding down the L button while doing a specific 2-button combination, you can perform one of 2 super attacks, which can either cause a lot of damage, or in some cases, give you an advantage in a fight. But in order to perform these special moves, your power meter needs to have at least 1 full bar, so it's best to use them wisely, especially since they can only cause damage if they actually hit your opponent, and if your opponent is not blocking. Also, they can try to attack you while you're performing the super attack, therefore interrupting the super attack, resulting in a wasted power meter. Luckily, you can replenish your power meter by either timing your blocks right or by collecting fruit, which can be found inside item boxes, but more on those in a bit. Another type of special move is the support character. By holding down L and pressing the B button twice, you can summon one of these characters to help you in your fight. There are 3 types of support characters: the one that charges at your opponent, the one that jumps up and tries to land on your opponent, and the one that remains still but throws projectiles at your opponent. Each character comes with a specific list of support characters, which can be chosen after you select your fighter. It's not a bad concept, although a lot of them can be either really cheap or really stupid. And finally, there's the ultimate attack. By holding down the L button, pressing the X button twice, then hitting a certain button, then you will perform a unique attack. If this attack hits your opponent, then you'll go into a cutscene where your character performs his ultimate attack. At least, if the right conditions are met. First off, in order to perform this move, you need 2 full power bars. Luckily, you won't use the energy if you miss. Second, the amount of damage the attack can cause depends on how much damage you have taken. The lower your health, the more powerful the attack. If you haven't lost enough health, the attack will be cut short, or if you're lucky enough to make it to the countdown, then the character will not finish the attack because of a miscellaneous reason.
I guess I'm not warmed up yet.
However, if you're lucky enough to get past the countdown, then you are treated to the character's ultimate secret move, getting rid of most, if not all, of your opponent's health. A perfect way to turn the tide of a losing battle.
No more orders. We're done for the day.
Now that may seem like a lot to remember, but that's fighting games for you. At least I'm not hearing anything about back, low punch, or quarter circle back, punch, punch, punch. Here it's just button, button, button.
One last thing. If your hit points reach 0 but your power meter is completely full, then you will enter a rage mode. This grants you a strength boost which can help you perform a last-minute turnaround. However, it only lasts as long as your power meter has any points to it, so you better make it count. Also, if your opponent manages to hit you, then your power meter will become useless, and one last hit will cause you to lose.
I lost!
While the controls for each character are nearly identical, the same thing can't be said for their movesets. Each character's moveset has a different feel to it, giving them a unique playstyle, giving you the opportunity to come up with different strategies for each character. It's one of the things I like about these types of fighting games, as well as One Piece in general. No 2 characters are the same.
Nothing will throw off my plan!
Win!
There are 7 different stages that you can fight on, each representing a location from the show, and each of them have a varying degree of interactability, from background characters that can either help or hinder your chances of victory, to certain breakable structures that can affect the layout. So you need to be careful. Any type of outside interference can cause the slightest opening, leading to a change in outcome. Also, I must say, these stages are awesome. I really love the attention to detail in recreating the classic locations from the show. Even Panda Man, the Waldo of One Piece, can be found hidden in each of the levels. Hello! Anyway, as I mentioned before, these stages are also filled with wooden containers. Along with the fruit, breaking these containers will also release an item. Much like in Super Smash Bros., these items can be used to help turn the tide in battle. Some can bestow positive effects on the characters once they collect them, while others can be used as weapons, negatively affecting the character who breaks it or gets hit by it. Some examples of the power-ups include a diamond, which can supercharge your special attacks, and a sword that can increase your attack power and allow you to break through enemy shields, but you can't use your own shield. On the other side of that, examples of the harmful items include a beehive, which can release bees onto the person who breaks it, which causes their movement controls to be switched around, although the bees can be transferred if you hit your opponent. Also, there is a bonfire, which can, well, light people on fire, and of course, bombs.
Well, that's enough talking about the gameplay. Instead, let's talk about the voice acting.
Now, as I said before, the English voice acting is provided by the cast of the 4Kids dub, which is one of the examples of why this dub was hated amongst One Piece fans.
I'm gonna get One Piece and become King of the Pirates!
Now, I bet you're all expecting me to say something bad about this cast. Well, you'd think so.
But here's the thing. Call it nostalgia, but I don't really mind the voices that much.
Well, at least during the gameplay. The attack names, grunts, and yells are enough to get their point across, and it sounds like they are actually fighting.
It's a pain!
I mean, these are professional voice actors. It's not their fault if they were in one of the worst dubs of all time.
That sounds a bit harsh.
However, there are instances where my tolerance does start to wane, but more on that later. First, I need to talk about the story mode. Although I think I should clarify on something. Despite the fact that this is called story mode, there really isn't any story. This is just a bunch of scenarios that lead up to an inevitable fight. However, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially for a fighting game.
Very well. But if you have the time, how about a fight to warm me up for the festivities?
There is a good number of them that are just lifted from the show, although they feel more like translated scripts, because there are a lot of references and lines of dialogue that I don't think were allowed in the 4Kids dub.
I've always wanted to manage my own tavern!
Yeah, a grape juice tavern.
However, there is also a good number of what-if scenarios. Banter between two characters that have either never met before or just never fought. And these are the most entertaining ones.
No one makes fun of my nose without a fight!
He must get in a lot of fights then!
It's really interesting to see how these characters interact with each other, leading to some pretty great moments.
Covered in armor and numerous weapons. A bit insecure, are we?
With this much power at my disposal, you're the one who should be insecure.
Although not all of them are perfect. I mean, there are a bunch of moments where the writing is really bad.
You made puppy chow out of that cat!
Puppy chow.
But those are only minor instances, and they can still be funny.
Ha! You thought you'd be tasting fish, but instead you're tasting defeat.
And soon you'll be tasting the fist in your face.
God, these scenarios are awesome. They give me a lot of material to work with.
Whoa, what's this? A talking stuffed animal? How dare you!
The nerve! He's not a stuffed animal. This is a stuffed animal.
You ate my weights, so now I'll have to use you for my workout.
I'm gonna turn your body into a total gym.
Why must everyone interfere?
I just wanted to create a conspiracy in which I take a rich girl's money. Is that just too much to ask?
Anyway, despite all the entertaining things that the story mode has done, this also leads to one of my major issues with the cast. It's not that they're bad, it's just the emotion.
Luffy! Help me!
There are a lot of moments when the voice acting does not match the emotions that the characters are displaying.
All the money's gone because you eat so much!
I am so angry with you, I am just filling up with rage. Now, to be fair, maybe the actors did not know what emotions to use when given the script.
No wonder you get lost all the time.
But if a person saw someone doing something like this...
Luffy, what are you doing with all my treasure?
I thought I'd ask Sanji to make us some golden stew!
I would expect them to get angry and not just slightly disappointed.
Are you kidding me? With your appetite? Of course not.
As I said before, the American release came with a good number of cut content. These include 4 cut characters: Eneru, Foxy, Aokiji, and Afro Luffy. That is understandable, I mean, you don't want any spoilers happening. But then we have something a little bit interesting. In the original release, there was a game mode that was called the Davy Backfight. Here, Captain Foxy would challenge you to a series of mini-games, and the winner of each game would get one of the opponent's support characters. So, what did we get for the American release?
Fine, I'll take you on. Best 2 out of 3. If I win, I get one of your crewmates. Now, choose the participants.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Usopp is the comic relief character, but was he the only option for this game mode? Personally, I think Buggy the Clown would have been a better choice.
Of course! We're clown pirates! We're very theatrical.
Anyway, Usopp's Pirate Challenge lasts for 3 rounds, with the first 2 being a random selection of mini-games, and the last round being a fight against Usopp. First, you choose the characters you want to use in each round. Then, each character would participate in a random minigame. If you win the minigame, then you can choose one of Usopp's support characters, allowing you the choice of using it in the next game. However, if you lose the minigame, then Usopp takes the next character's support character, preventing you from using it in the next round. So that's pretty much all you need to know about how this game mode works. Now let's take a look at these minigames. Our first minigame is a boat race, which is based off the barrel race from the Davy Backfight. Here, we need to make sure our team of random villagers passes the finish line before the opposing team, which is made up of the Usopp pirate crew. Now, we have some Foxy pirates who don't want our team to win, so they are shooting bazookas at them in order to slow them down. Therefore, we need to stop these guys from firing their weapons by attacking them before their charge meter reaches 0. And you need to hurry, because the closer you get to the finish line, the more aggressive these pirates get. Interesting idea, though it can get overwhelming really fast, especially when you have a slow character. Our next game is the Battle Bowl, which is based off of the Groggy Ring, also from the Davy Backfight. This is a 2-player game, in which they need to throw Gaiman, the man trapped inside a treasure chest, into their opponent's goal to get a point, or throw their opponent into their goal for multiple points. The one with the most points at the end of the time limit wins. Compared to the boat race, this doesn't really have much in terms of editing, so we've got Foxy pirates all around us. And this minigame is actually pretty fun, although it can get pretty intense when you have an opponent that knows what they're doing. Up next, we have the Box Crusher. The game is self-explanatory. Just break all the boxes within the time limit, which is also featured in the story mode after the 3rd match, although that version has half the number of boxes and a shorter time limit. Then we have Snow Shovel. Here, you need to clear out all the snow before time runs out. A bit trickier if you don't have a character that can affect a big area, and the giant rabbit throwing snowballs can get pretty frustrating since you need to clear out that pile of snow as well. Then we have our Custom Rules mode. This is just a normal fighting mode, except now there's a random effect placed on you and your opponent, like a faster speed, higher jump, or slippery movement. This mode is kinda confusing to me, because I feel like it would make more sense if this was in the regular Grand Battle mode and not in the minigame section. And finally, we have my least favorite minigame, Woot Smash. The object of this game is to destroy Don Krieg's armor. Yeah, basically, this is just a fight against Don Krieg. Except now he is powered by a shield item, which raises your defense, allows you to attack even when you're taking damage, and slows your movement. My main problem with this minigame is that Don Krieg has no health meter. I guess it's because you're supposed to know the progress by seeing how much damage his armor has, but was it really too much trouble to ask for a damage meter or something?
No! My armor's destroyed!
The Davy Back fights would usually end with a battle against Foxy aboard his pirate ship. But since the character as well as the stage were both cut, we instead have a battle against Usopp on a random stage. However, this time he has 2 health bars. After you bring his health down to 0, he has his health completely filled up and enters a permanent rage state, giving him an increased attack power and a permanently full power meter. I'm guessing this might have been the same for Foxy in the Japanese release, and it just doesn't feel right for Usopp. Again, I really think Buggy would have been the better choice.
I can walk on a ball, juggle, and destroy things!
The other modes in this game include a tournament mode, a training mode, and the regular grand battle mode, which I mentioned earlier. All of which are mostly self-explanatory, nothing major to talk about there.
However, do you know what is worth talking about? The unlockables.
Yeah, sure, there's the standard list of unlockable characters, but we also have some alternate costumes for the Straw Hat Pirates, a list of the character's belongings, the option to replace the voice of the announcer with the voice of a character.
Hey, wake up, Cactus Head!
Huh? Oh, it's morning.
There's even a collection of screenshots from the anime, although a lot of these screenshots look like they're from the original Japanese version and not the 4Kids dub. I mean, first off, we have clips from the Little Garden archive, which was skipped in the 4Kids dub. Sure, that's not going to confuse kids who only watch the 4Kids anime. And we also have screenshots that still have the Japanese symbols on them. Usually 4Kids would edit those out, and sometimes replace them with absolutely nothing. But what's even more surprising than all of that is that we have stills of Sanji with a cigarette edited out, instead of just replacing it with a lollipop. Although I have no idea what this is supposed to be. All of this kind of makes you wonder if there was any miscommunication between the developers of the dub and the developers of this game. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, now overall, these unlockables are fine. However, some of these unlocking methods are pretty weird. Sure, there is some requirements that are pretty logical, like completing a certain difficulty on the story mode, or beating Usopp's pirate challenge a certain number of times. But then we have the requirements of unlocking a certain character's belongings. First, we need to enter training mode, perform every single attack on your opponent, as well as destroy all the pillars in the stage within a specific time limit.
But that's not that big a deal in the long run. There's something far more crazy and more frustrating than that. There is an unlockable character that requires you to have 40 hours of gameplay just to meet the requirements. 40 hours of gameplay!
Seriously, who has that amount of free time to spend just to unlock a character? Admittedly, there is a cheat code that you could use to unlock the character, but what if they want to unlock it legitimately?
I mean, what do they expect us to do? Start a 2-player game and leave it running for 40 hours?
Because that's what I did. There, I was able to unlock Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Now all that's left is to unlock Crocodile, the main villain of the Baroque Works saga. Like Bon Clay, he also has a cheat code you can use to unlock him. But seriously, after 40 hours of gameplay, surely I have the requirements needed to unlock him legitimately, and it turns out I did. Now I can put all the aggression I had into this one ultimate attack and finally unlock this last character.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
And on that note, let's leave it there. This game is actually pretty decent despite some obvious flaws. However, I feel like the original version is going to be superior.
While the game does have its moments of frustration, the gameplay is solid, the characters are unique, and the attention to detail is amazing. I admit the cut content does make this game feel incomplete. However, the content it does have is pretty enjoyable. That being said, I wouldn't mind a fan translation of the original game, but who knows if that's even possible at this point. What we have here is a fun, One Piece themed fighting game. Sure, it may not offer much to non-One Piece fans, and some fans might find certain aspects infuriating.
Eggs are meant for breakfast, not battle, you idiot.
But if one is able to forgive the sins of the past, then you may find yourself having a great time in this grand hearty battle. I'm the Redshirt Reviewer, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more, you can check out some of my other videos.